If you're not gonna tip, don't go out to eat.
Like, how hard is it to throw us $5?
Hey, alright guys, relax. I don't mean to mock them, and I even like tipping myself, but it's hard not to see the problem at hand. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Picante J, back at it again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about different food delivery services and how I think that there is a growing conflict between the customers and the couriers because of tipping, and how I feel that this type of culture should not exist anymore. Over the past few weeks, I've seen multiple people complain about the exorbitant fees of food delivery services like Uber Eats, Postmates, Grubhub, and DoorDash. And I've also seen these food delivery service drivers complain about people not tipping.
Y'all, I wish that people who order Uber Eats or DoorDash understood what it's like to be a driver. Like, I just spent 45 minutes on a delivery and had to pay $3 to bring this person their food because there was no parking, no free parking anywhere near their building, and they refused to come out and meet me. They tipped me $1.50 and Uber paid me $2.50. Like, I got approved 3 times the rent for income in 2 weeks, and I can't. And it doesn't matter that I'm working multiple jobs. It doesn't matter that I barely sleep and can barely afford to feed myself. I'm about to be homeless for the 3rd time since May. And it's all because people don't tip their delivery drivers. Like, how hard is it to throw us $5?
Now you can see the two sides going against each other, customer versus courier. Meanwhile, the CEOs of the companies are laughing and counting their bands up. I think we fell for the trap. See, my first problem with tipping is that it pits the customer against the servers/deliverers for money, but the company never gets blamed. I truly believe that companies and other restaurants should pay a fair wage to their employees and their waiters and deliverers, and I also believe they should still be allowed to get tips from customers as well, but at least not require/encourage this tipping behavior, because in other countries it's not like this.
But Jordan, what about the restaurants that are small businesses? Won't they go to automation and it's gonna cause unemployment?
Alright, so I messed up a little right here. Larger corporations are probably more likely to go to automation rather than smaller businesses, but it is not out of the realm of possibility for smaller businesses in the future to start phasing out regular labor by actual employees for automated services. In San Francisco, California, there's actually a lot of restaurants that are turning to robot chefs and are nearly fully automated. But in my opinion, and this is a controversial take, if your business cannot afford to pay its employees a fair wage, then your company or business should not exist.
Boo this man!
Why are you booing me? I'm right. Let's slow it down for a bit, okay? I understand why smaller businesses have to exist and how greatly they impact the local economies they exist in. I also understand how vital it is for a dollar to be circulating and staying in a certain community through smaller businesses rather than going to larger corporations. So it's very, very important to vote for candidates who are in favor of giving smaller interest loans to mom and pop shops. The second thing I don't like about the tipping when it comes to these food delivery services is that these drivers expect you to tip a lot after these crazy fees that you already have to pay. Now look, I have no problem tipping at a restaurant, all right? I know when I go to a restaurant, I'm gonna be paying for the price of the meal, plus the tax, and then the tip. But for these food delivery services, it's the price of the food, tax, service fee, delivery fee, small order fee, oh, and yeah, the tip as well. This whole process of paying 3 different type of fees on top of the food that you're already getting and then being expected to tip is excruciating for the customer. A lot of these restaurants that offer these food delivery services through different apps, they don't like these services that much either. Services often charge 30%. But these charges could put the restaurant's profits in the red. And I'm also pretty sure that couriers don't like the fact that their pay is dependent on tips. One party is always gonna make their money and is always gonna be satisfied every time. And that is the middleman. I don't hate capitalism, but these new middleman services are a direct result of the system that we have in this country. Why create a hotel when you can have users on your platform rent out their own homes for short stays? Why create a taxi service when you can allow people on your platform to drive others around for pay? Why not pay these workers a fairer wage or even consider them employees? Oh wait, California tried to do that, but Uber and Lyft threatened to leave. And with a cleverly written amendment, Prop 22 was born. The proposition on the 2020 presidential ballot for California asked voters if they were or weren't in favor of keeping Lyft and Uber drivers as independent contractors rather than employees. And to my surprise, and to many of y'all's surprise, in California, the vote was overwhelmingly for this proposition to be passed, thus protecting Uber and Lyft. Aside from that, tipping sometimes just doesn't make any sense. If all of my tip goes to one waiter or the one deliverer, why should I be encouraged to pay a higher tip for a more expensive item? Did they do more work for the food that I got? Instead, if I got a water with my meal, that's $15 compared to if I got a drink with my meal, that's $5. Do I tip more now since I got a drink with my meal? Because what more work did the waiter or waitress actually do? This is why tipping on percentage doesn't make any sense. But you know what? Since I'm a nice guy, I always tip 15 to 25%. There have been maybe like 2 or 3 times where I tipped less than that because the service was just so trash. Like, bro, my drink been sitting there for like 30 minutes, ain't get refilled. But now in these times of, the Verona virus, I do tip a minimum of 20% to help out during these times because I know there's a lot less people going to these smaller restaurants, and I know that these smaller restaurants are hurting during this time as well. And these people who work at other restaurants are not getting as much as well either. But that does not change the fact that I still think that tipping on a percentage makes no sense whatsoever. And tipping can also lead to discrimination. Yes, I'm going there. I'm taking it there because I gotta take it there. I've also heard some wait staff complain and generalize Black and Hispanic people based on their tipping or lack thereof. I am personally tired of this conflict between the customer, the consumer, versus the deliverer, waitress, courier, and all that. And I really want it to stop because we should stop fighting each other talking about,
Oh, I don't want to tip.
Oh, you should tip. You're a bad person if you don't.
when really we should be looking to the person at the top, all right, who should be paying the other person a fair wage. That's what we should be doing. But you know what? I'm gonna offer some solutions. Now, the first thing that I would propose is to increase the minimum wage of restaurant workers and also allow small businesses to have smaller interest loans. And I would also like there to be a small business tax credit implemented as well. So with all these things being implemented, these smaller businesses can still operate and compete with larger corporations while still paying their workers fair wages. And the other thing that I would do is increase the base pay of these food delivery services. Now, let's say in a perfect world where all of these things are done, people are still gonna tip because it's heavily ingrained in our society. Hell, I worked at a deli, all right, and people still tip me from time to time, and I was always caught off guard. I don't even think I was supposed to take the tips. I think that was not allowed, but I was like, yo, I ain't gonna say nothing. Thanks for the dollar. I appreciate it. Wasn't expecting it. I'll take it, okay? And yes, tipping will still exist, and there will always be generous people around to tip. But forcing generosity is not the way we want to go because it can lead to a lot of bad energy. And that's what you're seeing now. All right. That's what you're seeing with the arguments between people who already don't have a lot of money to tip versus the people who have to rely on tips because their business can't pay them a fair wage. In conclusion, if you want to tip. By all means, tip. If you want to help out these people during these times, that's great. That's great. I am not a delivery driver. I don't see myself being a DoorDash courier Maybe if times get really rough, maybe, I don't know. I'm not talking down on these people, because there's been times where I haven't had the facilities to actually go out and get food. So I had to, you know, hit the DoorDash, the Uber Eats up and get it. And I tip these people as well, all right? You know, it was kind of jarring to see that $10 meal go from $10 to $20. You're like, how did this happen? Like, how did this combo turn into the price of 2 combos? Like, it don't make sense. If you can't afford to tip a delivery driver after all the fees that you have to pay, don't feel guilty about it, okay? Just know that really it's the company that should have to pay. And it kind of sucks, because these delivery services really help out people who are disabled, or people who don't have the accessibility to go out to certain places and get food, or even groceries either. So these people who are already at a disadvantage shouldn't be made to feel more guilty about putting more money in other people's pockets, when that money should be coming from the business itself, not the people. So we shouldn't really have to tip people, and I think it's time for a better system. And that's all I got to say. Yeah, that's been another Picante J video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you got your own opinions, I would like to hear them, all right, in the comments down below. And as always, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and peace. Ballin' too hard through the net, swish. I'm coming with the heat, you need protection. You'll be doomed if you enter my section. Yeah, I'm coming.